Welcome everyone. We'll allow a bit more time for people to drop in, but I will start with some background information already. So today is all about reconnecting with your cohort from last year. And this is our last event of the year. So just to kind of go back, loading the second slide always takes some time, but there it is. So about a year ago, there was 10 teams and 29 people in Rome. And each team had a representative present at this event, the top two giving their pitches in the finals and the rest at the side events. So it's gone by very fast and it's almost time for the next one. So in the meantime, we organized 6 events, 7 if you include this one. And we covered so many topics ranging from climate change and environmental health to social determinants of health and food safety. And I guess the conclusion for most of these events is that our work is not done yet. So as always, we keep moving forward and the next flagship event is almost there. And again from last year, then Jackie, Tigin, Lensho and Fatima will be there. And also we asked for your project updates, so the reports, and then today's session will dive a bit deeper into that. So I got some pictures from the reports you sent in and a quote from the positive team about that reducing the dependence on imported feed and by making the most of agricultural byproducts. We're paving the way for more eco-friendly and cost-effective livestock farming. And I thought that was very inspiring, similar to this quote from the team about promoting One Health for agri-food systems. That you observed the 46% increase in farmer understanding of zoonotic disease prevention and One Health practices, which highlight the importance for integrated health education in agri-food systems. So I also read in all reports a few setbacks, and it's really interesting and nice to see how you overcame most of these and were able to set up such good projects. So just for today, so we started a bit later. You can see there's some stuff in the chat happening about people saying hi to each other. It's nice to see Maria dialing in from FAO as well, from the World Food Forum team. So we started the introduction a bit later for people to drop in. We'll do a quick round just to refresh who is working on which project and who's who. And then, we start with the presentations of the cohorts, a break, again, some presentations. And then, we end with a discussion and feedback session just to, receive feedback back and forth and discuss what we can improve. So for the rounds, we thought it would be nice to start with your name, then describe your project in 1 to 2 sentences, provide your location and the context, and then name the animal closest to you. And humans don't count as animals. So I can go first. My name is Michou, so I don't have a Global One Health project the same way you have, but I'm working, of course, with Jackie and Joukje to organize these events. And my location is in Wageningen at the meeting room. I put my own one as an example. The animal closest to me is, I saw a bird outside. I guess that counts. I think it was a blackbird. Yeah. So let's see who's next in my list. I will just go. Oh, Jackie is actually the next one for me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm dialing in from Wageningen University. And my topic is about knowledge integration in poultry health management. And I'm looking forward to read and even listen into the interesting discussions that you're going to have. And there's no any animal closest to me, but I have a picture of a plant behind my back.
And the next for me is Joukje, if she's able to dial in from the train travels.
Sorry if you can see me, but so I'm on the train between Schiphol and Wageningen. I have animals closest to me are changing very rapidly because the train is traveling at 140 kilometers an hour. I'm looking forward to your presentations. Thank you. Be sure you're on mute.
That explains a lot, thanks. The next for me is Aji. Can you please go with the round?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Aji. Right now I'm already in Indonesia. I just finished my study on Wageningen last month. So the project in here is the positive team. So basically it's the fermented palm waste and use it as a probiotic in poultry. And the animal closest to me, I don't have one, but I have, maybe this is the animal. This is the duck.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. And then we go on to Laura.
Oh, you cannot, of course. Sorry. Hi, I'm Laura. I am based in Aarau. Well, at the moment, I am in Aarau, Switzerland. That's where I live, but I work in Bern. And my project in 2 sentences would be that me and my team are trying to leverage the data information, knowledge, and wisdom framework, basically to provide a backbone for evidence-based decision making for the implementation of a One Health integrated surveillance system in Cuba. And the animal closest to me, I don't have pets at the moment, but I would guess it would be my neighbor's cat that I often babysit. So I guess she should be around here somewhere.
Thanks. And then we go to Lensho.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Rejo. I'm from Ethiopia. Our title is Campylobacteriosis in poultry in live woman. I am in Ethiopia. Animal closest to me is dog.
Cool, thanks. And then I think the order is messed up now, but we still have Maria from FAO to go.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria. I work at FAO. So I'm based in Rome. I'm currently in the office. And maybe the closest animal, I have no idea. Maybe a dog, because I imagine like someone would be walking with their dog somewhere in the streets in Rome. So yeah, probably it's the closest animal. And I'm working on the Youth Food Lab project at FAO. So very nice to see you. I don't know who is left. Over to you.
I think we have it again. Are you able to introduce yourself shortly again? I don't know if you're able to right now. Otherwise, we just move on. That's also fine, and we can always do it later. I think we also still have Ken. Oh, I think Ken is here. Yeah. I think the connection is a bit unstable, but I can hear something. Yes. Perfect.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tegen Dilbato. I'm from Ethiopia, Ambo University. Our title is Focus on Campylobacteriosis through One Health approach. Especially, our research is focused on poultry. So we are conducting our study on to integrate One Health approach in animal and the human and the environmental aspects. So we will, the animal closest to me is poultry.
Great, thank you, Tegen. Okay, so then we go to Ken.
Can you hear my- Can you hear
Yes,
my
go ahead.
voice?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ken. I'm from, currently I'm a master's student in Wageningen University and Research. And my project is positive alongside with Aji. It stands for palm waste as probiotics to prevent avian influenza. I don't know, the project is in 1 or 2 sentences. It's like a challenging and fun, maybe. And now, even though I'm still studying in Wageningen, but I already moved to my country, so I'm in Indonesia right now. And my animal closest to you, I don't know. I don't have any experience raising animal, but I really like, you know, like squirrel.
Oh yeah.
It's cute. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I think we also have another guest from FVO, that's Joe. I don't know if you have a short introduction maybe as well.
Hi everyone. I think some of you I might already know, some not. But my name is João and I work alongside Maria here at FAO in the coordination of the Youth Food Lab. And very excited to be here.
Thank you. Okay, I think we had everyone. I'm sorry if I missed anyone. Feel free to speak up. So it's always a bit of a hassle to get, yeah, now I'm back at the PowerPoint presentation. So yeah, just it was nice to kind of, yeah, have a short refresher of who is doing what. And now we start with the presentations already, actually. So Jackie will start with her presentation. Are you ready, Jackie? And we also have some time for questions afterwards. So yeah, feel free to write everything down that comes to mind, and we have enough time for discussion today. So yeah, look forward to that.
Maybe you can project the screen.
Yeah, sure. I will share the other slides you sent me. Okay. I think this works, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
So good afternoon, everyone. So my project is about knowledge of poultry health management in Kisumu County, Kenya, and I represent Team One Health Connects. Next slide. So my research context is Kisumu County, located in the western region of Kenya. And we chose to look at knowledge integration in poultry health management because we understand that farmers mostly live in close contact with their poultry, and also they understand the disease ecology within their local settings. And also practices of poultry management is also is embedded in the knowledge that they have in trying to understand how diseases spread within their interfaces. So yeah, so we focus on 2 study areas. That is Kisumu West and Nyando areas of Kisumu County, because we also represent the peri-urban and rural settings where poultry is most reared. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. So why poultry health management? We chose to focus on poultry because poultry is normally reared in 3 systems. We have the semi-confined, we have extensive and intensive system. By semi-confined, I mean that is where poultry can be left to maybe do like a bit of foraging for food, and also they're being maybe kept in a place in the evening somewhere in a house. Then extensive, they're just left to roam around and look for food, what you call the free range system. And intensive is where they are fully packed in the house and then they're being fed from there. They're not allowed to move around outside their housing. So why we chose this is because also it has poultry production is a trend that is gaining traction in Kisumu County, mostly in the rural and peri-urban areas, because it's something that can be reared within maybe a limited environment, but also within this environmental spaces, its chances are very high that risk can spread, because also it's in a confined area where people are not able to like manage or even observe proper hygiene practices in terms of sanitation on animal health issues. Also, it's a source of livelihood, where it's also a fast-growing sector whereby it's good. People are keen on using it as a form of animal source products. So also, people are supposed to ensure that whenever they have it or whenever they eat it, it's something that is from a treated animal that is free from any disease. So that's why people are looking at it like a source of livelihood, and also they're motivated to treat an animal, to treat the birds, because they need to eat something that is more free from diseases. Also, some of the prevalent diseases within Kisumu County, we have issues like Newcastle disease, we have coccidiosis, fall flu, and fowlpox. So these are major diseases that are affecting people within, affecting the birds within this region, hence our focus in poultry health management. So these are some of the types of poultry farming systems in Kenya. Like I explained earlier, we have the free range system, which is also the extensive one. The middle one is the deep litter system, where there may be semi-confined, and also farmers are using the locally available resources. Like you can see, there's a metallic heating system there. We also have a pot that has been converted into a heating system also for the birds. Then the other one on my right, on the right hand, is for the bird cage system, which also we call the intensive system, like I earlier explained. Let's go to the next slide. So our research approach was using key informant interviews, where we interviewed some of the vets and also the livestock officer. But for your information, livestock also involves poultry. That's why I used the word livestock officers. Then we also had like field extension officers and even some of the livestock researchers. So I conducted key informant interviews with them to understand the dynamics of grassroots interventions in poultry health management. Also, we conducted survey questionnaires with farmer households, where we were trying to understand how they manage a certain disease within their household, and also in terms of feeding their animals, what kind of challenges they go through. Those are some of the things included in the survey for the questionnaires. This was actually a mixed research approach. Yeah, so this was me interviewing one of the vets. So yeah, next slide. So one of the key results that we found in our study was that housing was a major problem in Kisumu County in terms of how people manage their systems. A lot of people focused on using the free range system because it's easy to manage, but also that one is it's a potential area where diseases can also spread to the poultry or even the birds. So that's why they prefer that, because it's easy to manage, but it has a lot of challenges with it when it comes to health issues. So when you look at the free range system, it was the most popular housing system that people preferred, which stood at 64%. And also that also shows that people also prioritize on bird welfare, because they want birds to like exhibit the natural ways of feeding without having like a strict diet for them. Then we also have the deep litter system, which is at 28%, which was not most commonly used by the people. And then we have also the battery cage system, which was less used because it's kind of expensive based on how the materials that are used for constructing the bird housing. Yeah, so some of these things are what farmers spoke about, the concerns in terms of managing health issues was a challenge at some point. Yeah. So another issue is on risk factors causing the major diseases in poultry. One of them was about farmers were talking about issues on introducing new birds into their farming system. Sometimes you see somebody goes to the market, buys poultry and just brings them and mixes them with the other animals within the farm. So I mean the other birds in the farm. So by mixing these birds, it exposes the other healthy birds to maybe have any other disease that might come from the ones that were in the market. So some of the issues that they were concerned about was about the biosecurity practices within the housing, because were so confined in their housing spaces, and also there were poor ventilation systems that also caused, that also stand as a risk of exposing the birds to diseases. Also, issues of sanitation within the farms were not something that was well adhered to, because anyone could access the farm with maybe without using the good sanitary precautionary measures in terms of dressing, or even using equipment that are required to feed the birds, or even cleaning the feeder system. Giving poultry clean water was not part of the insights these people have at some point. So another issue was also on misuse of poultry medicine. This is what I call the antimicrobial use. You find sometimes a farmer would go and buy medicine for poultry. Maybe it was suffering from maybe fall pox or even fall flu. So they will use the medicine to maybe even treat a different disease, because they do not want to let it go at a waste, because it was bought at an expensive price. So that also reduces the immunity of the poultry when a disease has happened. It can even maybe spread to other poultry around. So another issue is seasonality. Months of the year is one of the some periods of the year we usually have, they usually have a lot of diseases that spread within that area. So for example, we have January and February, which are the hot periods within Kisumu County. And here mostly some of the diseases that are common, we have coccidiosis and the fall pox, because the pathogens normally reproduce within this hot season. So with this, so farmers are trying to look at when they can be able to rear their animals, or even let them roam around without having being exposed to the diseases. Yeah. Next. So the major conclusions we got from the result is that there's a lot of diversity in poultry rearing within Kisumu County, although this housing system also exposes these birds to health risks like the cross-transmission of diseases. So it's something that farmers are trying to look at how they can be able to manage within having the limited resources that they have, but still they don't know how to do that in a very better way. Also, hygiene practices was key in terms of sanitation, and also ensuring that they don't overlook vaccination, and even providing quality water for the birds to drink at some point. Then another issue is about seasonal variation of weather. That is the issues of impacts of climate change. So we found that climate was one of the major causes of diseases, because looking at the weather forecast and the weather system in Kenya, months of January to February is usually the hot season, where maybe the high disease season, and also wet season sometimes vary. So also there is also high risk of having issues like coccidiosis and Newcastle. Yeah, so those are some of the issues that we found as key that were affecting poultry health in Kisumu County. Yeah. So what we recommended was having like a targeted education initiative within the county region, because most farmers had an idea of rearing poultry, but they didn't know how the specific project or intervention that they can use, that can maybe in terms of biosecurity measures that they could use for improving their poultry health. So another issue is also on the issue of community-based mobile veterinary centers. This is because some of the farmers were complaining about they were talking about when they call vets to come and maybe treat their bird, they usually take time to maybe respond to their issues, and that would even cause a problem in terms of let's say trying to manage a disease at some point. So there also another key issue was about trying to have like stakeholder collaboration, whereby everyone, like the vets, we have the farmers having to work in together, but there is a gap between the two, because farmers feel that stakeholders don't take in what the practice that they're doing that they're being serious. So that also brings in the problem where farmers just do what they know. There's lack of credibility between the two parties. Yeah. So I would say that these are the three common issues that we recommended on our report, and you're hoping at some point we can maybe further it by even turning it into a publication at some point. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, Jackie. So are there already any questions from the cohort? I know I have one as well, and I see one by Jouk here about how nice your work was, and also in relation to the poultry. So her question is, do you know how much contact there is generally speaking, between poultry and wild birds, and how that differs between housing systems, like between the extensive and the intensive and the free-ranging practices. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, in terms of contracts, I would say that when you look at the free-range system, that was the main problem that farmers had. They were like, in the morning when they open the doors for the birds to go away and just look for their feed, chances are very high that they'll meet with other wild birds like the eagles and everything, and they might end up maybe eating something from them, and that can be even an airborne infection. So that is a problem that they still struggle on how to they can be able to minimize. So there's contacts with that.
Yeah, if the cohort has questions, by the way, feel free to speak up. And in the meantime, also in relation to that question, I guess there's trade-offs between like both systems, right? There's pros and cons to either keeping them inside or outside, I guess. So do you feel like, so if they are kept outside, there's more spreading of disease, perhaps through wild birds between farms? And then on the other hand, when you have all your chickens or your birds in one cage inside, the disease is spread very fast within your flock of birds, perhaps. So what kind of approach would you see as the best One Health approach? What kind of farming practice?
The best one, I think I would look at having semi-confined system, because of course, also you go with the context dependent or context specific interventions, because also farmers also will be able to do they go with what they can afford. So semi-confined can be something better for them, where they can just maybe have like an open space within their homestead and just build somewhere there, and with a wire mesh system that they can be able to, the birds can just forage in that place without having to go far away to maybe the neighboring areas. Yeah,
perhaps it can even be seasonal. Maybe in these seasons of high disease prevalence, you could keep them inside a bit more, and then in the other seasons a bit more outside.
Yeah, that could also be a good idea to do that.
And then I see, oh, sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I see a question from Tegen about prevalence of common poultry diseases. So one of the key issues in Kisumu County is about, we have coccidiosis on the rise and Newcastle disease. These are the two kind of diseases that affect farmers mostly, depending on whether it's within the high or even the low disease season. So mostly farmers, what they try to do is that within that period, they try to seek for maybe proper medical prevention measures, where they can even go and even talk to their agro-vets or even the vets to come. But the problem is that the vets don't respond quickly when such kind of situations happen. So also that's also a challenge that they're trying to overcome that.
So what kind of plans are there now to kind of increase this response from the vets? Is it because they are they just have so much work to do that they don't have time to respond, or is it for other reasons? Do you need more vets or just more responsive vets?
Yeah, that's a good question. What I can say is that it's not about they don't respond quickly. Yes, they don't do that because they're left staffed. They're understaffed. So, if somebody covers maybe like 3 or 4 areas and, they are sparsely distributed. So reaching one farmer to another one, it requires like something like a snowballing process that will take even a whole week or a month to cover all the regions that in those areas where maybe there is a notifiable case of a disease.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for elaborating on the questions. Are there any other questions left from the cohort or other people in the meeting? If not, we move on to the next presentation by Laura. Laura, would you prefer me to share your slides, or are you? Do you want to do it yourself?
I would prefer to do it myself.
Yeah, of course. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
I think sharing is not turned on.
Oh, yeah. I will put it on right now. It should work right now.
It's working.
Great.
So it's going to stop. So this is something else. You can see my screen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm Laura. I'm here today on behalf of my team, and we developed a project on One Health surveillance in Cuba, or this idea of developing an integrated One Health surveillance system. And before we start, I just wanted to introduce who we are. So obviously, I'm Laura. I'm Portuguese, and I currently work at the Veterinary Public Health Institute in Bern. Then my other colleague is Damaris, and she's Cuban, and she currently works in Cuba at the CISA, which is the Cuban Institute for Agriculture Sciences. And we have Luis, who is also of Portuguese descent, and he currently works in Norway. And this is our team. So our idea was, we had this idea regarding avian influenza. We've been working on avian influenza for a little bit. I think everybody knows that avian influenza virus have zoonotic potential that can lead to global pandemics. And it impacts poultry, wild birds, ecosystems, and of course, it poses a huge threat to the poultry industry. But also, as well, to wildlife biodiversity, and is a very big public health risk. And in Cuba, currently, there is a separate monitoring system for public and animal health. And therefore, an integrated surveillance system would be better, as it could manage this hazard and also optimize resources for early detection and response to possible outbreaks that might happen, as Cuba is a very specific location and is very close by, as many of you know, to the United States. And also it has many of wild birds that are associated with the avian influenza cycle that pass through Cuba in their migration routes. So as I mentioned a little bit before, so the geographical situation of Cuba makes this a very important site to surveil avian influenza. And we chose the Data, Information, Knowledge, and Wisdom framework, as I mentioned before in our introduction, as it is a backbone for evidence-based decision-making. And our idea was that this could be especially useful when we're tackling complex situations such as avian influenza, because we can map basically the whole process from data to decision. And therefore, we could uncover needs and potential issues that can arise for the integrated surveillance system. So this project explores the application of this framework, the Data, Information, Knowledge, Wisdom framework model, in design and implementation of an integrated surveillance system in Cuba. And so our proposal suggested that we first would begin with a literature review. So we had a look, we conducted a targeted literature review to better understand the problem and the context, and then to better understand how to apply this model. And we decided to hold a stakeholders consultation workshop, which we designed and we conducted in Havana, Cuba, in June of 2024. And we did so by designing a workshop that would bring together the relevant Cuban stakeholders. And it was actually the first time that many of these people met. So it was a very interesting workshop. And we wanted to include as many people from different sides of the spectrum that could be important for this integrated surveillance system as possible. So we're talking not only government officials, veterinarian, public health authorities, but we also wanted to include, for example, hunting associations, which are key in this early detection. And the next stage of our project would be, which we've already started, is to analyze the results that we gathered from the stakeholders consultation workshop. And we have the idea of later integrating this into a scientific article. So that was a background to the idea of this project. So we had previously conducted a workshop in Cuba towards a One Health surveillance system. And we had also held a stakeholders workshop. And in this project, we developed, or we used constellation analysis to gather the information from the stakeholders. And what we wanted to do with this project is to take it a step further using the framework of the Data, Information, Knowledge, and Wisdom. And therefore, we held a 2-day workshop in Cuba where we used the constellation analysis that we had developed. And the constellation analysis work resulted in a scientific publication, which which I will later provide a link to. And as you see, we had a very good attendance of people to the workshop. And here you can see on your right side, you can see a picture of people having a look at the constellation analysis. To provide us, we focus mostly on the data and information that can be used in the systems and that is lacking or that it needs to be improved. So at the end, we had 25 participants, and it was a multidisciplinary workshop, and we had stakeholders coming from different backgrounds, so investigation, civil defense. We had people from the government, from the public health institutions. We had people from the labs, from the Sportive Hunting Association, also from different labs, so public health, so human health labs, but also veterinary labs. And we then ease the sharing of ideas among the participants and foster collaboration. This resulted in the input about the data information needs that are required. And at the end, as you can see here to your right as well, how the information should flow within the system. So this is one of the results that we gathered. And as you can see, the participants actually added post-its, meaning there are institutions that had not previously been considered that are important and that should be added to the integrated surveillance system. So as our project outcomes, we organized a 2-day workshop, which is now completed. We published an informative note on scientific journal in Spanish that has been accepted but not yet published. And we have presented our preliminary results at the International Course on Disaster Reduction and Management in the Agricultural Sector in Havana, Cuba by our colleague Damaris. And we are now at the stage of elaborating the final report. And also we want to maybe follow up with another workshop that will be held by our Cuban counterparties. And we are now in the process of preparing the scientific publication. So in the future, like I mentioned, our idea is to, our project, the idea is to, of course, inform activities and the design and implementation of this integrated One Health surveillance system in Cuba, avian influenza. And the idea was also to create a network between the stakeholders so that these people could be in contact. And this has been incredibly successful. So we created a WhatsApp group, and the group is still active, and we exchange information on a weekly basis almost. And this has also served to have people, for example, from the Hunting Association to let us know we will start collecting the data, for example, things that we had discussed in the workshop. And lastly, due to the positioning of our project team member, Damaris, we have also been able to carry on activities in Cuba, and we want to culminate this particular project with a scientific publication that should be coming up soon. And if you want to know more about our project or our previously done work, you can find it through these QR codes. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me via my work email. So this is my presentation. I don't know if there's any questions. I mean, you only had 8 minutes, so I had to be fast.
Yeah, feel free to speak up if there are any questions. I know I can start with one. I read in some reports that people sometimes struggled with getting people for like workshops or interviews. And did you also experience that it was hard to have enough diverse group of stakeholders engaged for your workshop, or did you not have trouble with that?
I mean, it was interesting because how it works in Cuba is that people are highly engaged, and especially with the topic of avian influenza, there is a working group, let's say it like this, in the government. So the government is actively working towards this One Health approach to avian influenza. And therefore, since it's something that is backed up by the government, people tend to actively participate and want to be part of it and want to understand more. So it was really not an issue for us. And we actually knew, so I work in Switzerland, we tend to do things like 6 months in advance, already start programming. And in Cuba, this is really not needed, which we always find it funny. But we can give like an advance of 1 month and people will be like, yes, that's fine, we will come. And we wanted actually to have 2 different groups for these 2 days. But the same thing happened with our other workshop, that people found it so enlightening and so interesting that they came for the second day without being invited. But I mean, we're always open to having people come. They came for both days because they wanted to learn more and stay for the rest of the discussion. So it's really something that is phenomenal about Cubans in particular, that they're very engaged. So it's really not a problem to find participants.
Okay, oh, that's really lovely to hear. I hope that spreads around to other areas as well. It's really nice. I don't see any other questions in the chat for now. Yeah, if not, there's also time a bit later for any discussion or questions. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, surveillance in animals and people is separate in other countries as well. Yeah. Okay, then we have a small break, a short break of 10 minutes, and we move on with the other presentation. So yeah, go ahead and take some rest, and we start again in 10 minutes. The time will be different for everyone. I will put it in the chat, but yeah, I will see you here, and yeah, see you in a while. Welcome back, everyone. So we're moving on with the presentations. Normally we would now have Fatima's presentation, but I don't see her here yet. She might be delayed a bit, so I was wondering if Aji, you might be able to present already on the on the positive team. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
Would you prefer me to show the slides, or are you okay with doing that?
Yeah, I can share about this.
Okay,
Just
sure.
let me share. Wait, wait. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Aji, a representative from the positive team. I will present about the research result from the palm waste as a probiotics to prevent avian influenza. So basically, did you know that Indonesia producing around 60% of the world palm oil? And because of that, the huge amount of the palm oil waste is producing there every day and become a problem for environment. And also we are looking for the scientific approach to utilizing that waste. And we come to conclusion that if we could prevent avian influenza infection, not by fighting the virus directly, but by strengthening the natural defense of the poultry, we can use this palm waste and turn it into something beneficial for both chicken and also the environment. Our goal was simple at the time: use palm kernel meal, the byproduct from the palm oil production, to create the feed component for chicken, and also lowering cost of the feed and ultimately preventing the disease from such as avian influenza. So let me share with you our journey and findings. So basically, the poultry industry is facing major challenges right now, like rising of the feed costs and also the disease. And avian influenza is one of the most contagious virus there, with devastating impact on poultry farm worldwide and also leading to massive losses. And also AI infect chicken by basically is using the sialic acid molecule on the respiratory and also the gastrointestinal tract. So when the sialic acid concentration is high, the chicken is more susceptible to AI. So making the sialic acid production into low or stable is important to maintaining the health of the chicken. And one of the precursors that could stabilizing the production of the sialic acid are MANA, which is derivative compound from mannose. And our solution at the time is create the feed additive. So basically the palm kernel meal, which is rich of the mannose sugar, and then we fermented it by using the lactobacillus fermentum into manna. And this probiotic is not only promoting the healthier chicken, but also strengthening the immune system, reducing the risk of the disease from the other viruses and or bacteria. And we also aim to improve the both poultry health and also reducing the price of the chicken feed. So by reducing the risk of the avian influenza, we are not only protecting the chicken, but also helping to prevent like a disruption of the global poultry supply chain. And for now, we have progressed up around 80%. There are some things that be changing in the experimental design because there's some changing on the field. And also for doing this research, we are collaborating with local university in Indonesia, that is Universitas Gadjah Mada. And we are changing from the closed house system into open house system. And also there are some difficulties in like finding some analysis that in sialic acid in Indonesia. So in this time, we only use like the other gut parameter quality, such as the tight junction analysis, Philly characteristic, and some of the genes. And we also plan to see the income over feed cost, so how much we can doing the reduction cost for the feed for analyzing in the economic performance. So when starting, we are just 4%. So Nida, me, Aji, Ken, and also Robbie. But right now our team is become 10. So 5% from Universitas Gadjah Mada and 1% from the PhD in Wageningen University. So we want to try doing the collaborating research in the poultry farming. So the progress we have been made is the first, we are preparing the inoculum for the fermentation and then doing the fermenting, the palm kernel meal in the anaerobic condition. And after finishing it, we doing the proximate analysis for the feed ingredients. And then we are drying the fermented palm kernel meal because in the fermentation process, the process is in the wet condition, but to mix it with other ingredients to make it fit, it needs to be dry. And then after that, mixing feed formulation with the fermented palm kernel meal, we are using 4 concentration at the time, and preparing day-old chick and placement in the brooding phase. And then we are doing the chicken management production system and slaughtering and sampling process from the gut health, from the gut sample, and also doing the analysis from the intestinal histomorphological and also from the molecular analysis. And right now, we are still doing the short chain fatty analysis from the sample. So the key research that we are finding is the first one is the growth and the productivity. So basically, when we added the fermented palm kernel on the small amount, so the P1 is 2.5% and P4 is 10%. Basically, on the 2.5%, the FCR, the food conversion rate, is better compared to the control. So the FCR more lower is better, but when it comes to 10%, the growth of the chicken, it's become more slower. So basically, the concentrate on the 2.5% to 7.5% is quite similar with the control, but on the 2.5% fermented palm kernel meal is better compared to the control one. And when we see to the intestinal histomorphological analysis, by adding 2.5%, mostly it's give better result from the fillet height, fillet weight, and also from the creep depth ratio. So that makes the absorption of the nutrition from the chicken is better and increasing the productivity. Besides that, we are also doing the tight junction analysis genes from the CLDN1 and ZO1. And for the inflammatory genes, we are assessing the tumor necrosis factor alpha. And based on the result is the tight junction genes is on the CLDN1 is reducing little by little from using the fermented kernel meal, but on the ZO1 it's better compared to the control. And for the inflammatory genes, it's quite similar. So just based on the ZO1, the intestinal barrier integrity is better compared to the control. And we are doing the analysis here for the economic and health impact. Basically, by adding the 2.5% of fermented palm kernel meal, actually farmer could reducing the feed cost around €2 per 20 kilogram of the chicken feed. This is quite good one because mostly if we rearing around 100 chicken, they needed around 150 or to 160 kilogram feed to producing 1 kilogram chicken. And also some obstacle and challenges when we are conducting the research is some of the laboratory equipment undergoing the repair and also the maintenance, because we also sharing with other department and doing together with some student there. And also because we need to collaborating with the team from the Wageningen and also from the Indonesia. Sometimes it's quite difficult to matching the time also. So for the future consideration right now, we want to publish our research in the Poultry Science Journal at the end of this year. And yeah, just share the lesson learned from related this research and also from our experience participating in the TRC Global One Health Challenge. So in conclusions, our research show that using small amount of the fermented palm kernel meal up to 7.5% is still safe and help boosting the immunity in the chicken, and potentially preventing infection from avian influenza or some bacteria. And add 2.5%, including fermented kernel meal into the feed, could provide a real economy benefit, around €2 more cheaper for 20 kilogram of the chicken feed without sacrificing the productivity. Yeah, we are proud to present the positive as a solution in utilizing palm waste and makes chicken farming more cost effective and help to protect chicken from some of diseases. Yeah, thanks you for the attention, just like.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Nice to hear the progress. I really liked hearing about like this circular, chain. So it's really nice. Even besides just, the effect on the potential effect on the disease spread and everything, it's really nice that you're able to apply the circular chain of using waste as feed. So if there's any questions, feel free to speak up. Otherwise, I will just start. So I was wondering, besides like this increase on immunity, does it also really have the potential to decrease the viral load and really slow down the spreading of the disease to like other birds that might not have this palm waste feed?
So basically, this is good for the gut health, but sometimes the problem from the farmer is there is like two sides from we want to big chicken or health chicken, something like that. And but right now, I think the farmer is more conscious about the healthy chicken is better compared to the big chicken. So I think the development of the prebiotics from utilizing from the agricultural waste is more popular right now in Indonesia. And it becomes a new resources as a feed, because at the time we really like always importing all of the maize from the other country to make it the chicken feed.
Yeah. Okay, good to hear. I see Jackie also has a question.
That was a nice presentation. So I'm just wondering, I know also when you are trying to rear poultry, you need to also ensure you have like a balanced diet for these birds, for them to be able even to increase productivity or even grow better. So how do you ensure that the supply that you have is enough to an extent that maybe you have to maybe supplement other things? So I'm sure you cannot just give birds the same feed all the time. You have to ensure that it's a balance, considering other elements within the feed system.
Yeah, basically right now all kind of the palm waste is become problem in Indonesia because the production system is very huge amount of the palm waste every day, and all of the waste like from the palm kernel meal, palm leaf, palm trunks, there's always become a problem and just dumping on the field. That's why the most for the sizing itself is very big, and also if we only use 2.5%, it's really efficient, and we still have a lot of the resource. We still don't know how to manage the waste from the palm system. And I think this one is one of the kind that we can give as a solution, but we need to doing the upscaling things, and we need to collaborating with other engineers to make it happen.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question by Jouke linking to like the scalability of the project. So how scalable is the process at the moment, and did you take transport of the product into account as well?
Yeah, this one, the problem is mostly the chicken poultry farming in Indonesia is mostly on the Java Island and Sumatra. In Sumatra, it's not the case because on Sumatra we have a lot of the palm oil plantation, but the biggest oil plantation is mostly on the Kalimantan, and Java doesn't have one, the oil, only small part. So basically, the most possible one is we producing the prebiotic things on the site, because the raw material itself is quite easy because it's nutritious raw material, right? So it's easy to deteriorate because of the bacteria or fungi. So it needs to direct treatment with the fermentation, and after that we can drying it and just transport it as the to the other as a feed component, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it kind of depends on the island you're working at, and also how long you can store the product. Okay. Okay, thanks. I don't know if there are any more questions left. I was wondering if the project is also, you can use it for, so I think your project focused only on broilers, right?
Yes, true.
And is it also, yeah, can it be applied to laying hens as well?
Yeah, but actually the prebiotic and probiotic, based on my experience, is better using on the on the egg chicken, because the age of the broiler is only 1 month usually. So basically it's the gut health, the gastrointestinal system itself is not developed yet, basically, because I think the best gastrointestinal system is around 2 or 3 months. So sometimes the consumption of the probiotic and prebiotic is huge on the laying chicken compared to the broiler system, actually.
Okay. Okay, that's clear. Thanks. I will just take a quick look if there's more questions here. I don't think so. And then I did get a message from Fatima that she's able to present, but I do not think she's here yet. So we can just go on with some little discussion and feedback, and we'll see if she is able to get into the meeting. So thank you all actually for your presentations.
Yeah.
I'll just share my my feedback slides on screen.
Mishu, as you share the screen, I had a question for Laura.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's one of the first things we're discussing is questions to each other. So yeah. Go ahead.
It's about stakeholder analysis that you mentioned that you used in carrying out some of your data collection. So I was wondering, how did you manage the power dynamics in terms of ensuring that even those people who are more greatly affected with these issues of avian influenza are given like a voice to speak on the platform when you're doing your discussions?
So our approach was to basically always have somebody who was mediating the conversations. Aside from that, we also made sure that if there were two people from the same background, for example, if you had government people or you had vets or you had hunters, whatever, if we had two people participating, which was often the case because there are many institutions, and therefore you could be a lab and have two people that are from different sites and different labs, we would always separate them. So I don't know if you were able to see in the pictures where we had two tables, and basically what we did was to always make sure that people from the same group were divided, and then always have one of us mediate the conversation. So if we felt like one voice was very overpowering, then we would always interject and say, what do you think? So always mediate to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak and say what they think. But at the end, it was not a very big issue because our approach was always to have group discussion within the tables and then have a global discussion, which would then allow each person to have their moment speaking up what they thought, but also gathering questions or if people disagreed or agreed on. So that's how we handle that situation.
Okay, thanks.
In the meantime, I see Fatima joined us, so we can start with her presentation first. Are you able to present, Fatima? Do you have the slides?
Okay, yes, Mitchell. Sorry for being late. I'm sorry. I totally lost track of, I don't know. Give me some time to share my screen.
Yes, no worries. Take your time.
Okay. Please, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay. Once again, sorry for being a bit late. It's afternoon here in Ghana. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Fatima Ponsan, your team lead for zoonotic schistosomiasis team. And this afternoon, I'll be talking about our research journey, some findings that we've gotten so far, and probably the implication. So schistosomiasis affects over 250 billion people worldwide. And of this population, three-quarters of this population live in sub-Saharan Africa. And also the Mass Drug Administration Program, which was developed by WHO, has prolonged more than necessary. The program was supposed to come to an end in 2020, but then it's still ongoing. So experts and opinion leaders and also scientists are worried about why the program has prolonged more than necessary. So here brings the research gap, or why we embarked on this journey. So in some part of the world, especially in Africa, livestock and their owners stay in close proximity, and sometimes in some of these communities, livestock and their owners depend on same water source for drinking and also for other purposes. And in these areas, sanitation and hygiene is a problem, and therefore open defecation becomes a practice or a common norm of the day. So the question is, why has the program delayed so far? And one of the reasons, or the possible reasons that came up, was zoonotic schistosomiasis, the possibility of livestock retaining the livestock forms of the parasite, and therefore prolonging the fight against the disease. So this study therefore sought to assess the incidence of schistosomes in both livestock and their owners, and specifically, the study was to assess prevalence in the livestock and their owners, and also assess some of the disease manifestation by interacting with the farmers, because they are in the communities with their livestock, they see them every day. And also to organize focus group discussion to assess their knowledge on the transmission of the disease. How does the disease come about? Do they even know how their livestock or they themselves contract or get the disease in their bodies? So we organized focus group discussion to know some of these responses. So the study was conducted in the Toulon district of the northern region of Ghana, where schistosomiasis has been marked to be endemic, where the red arrow is pointing. And ethics was sought from the University for Development Studies Ethics Committee, and hotspot communities were selected with help from the district disease control officers. And we worked in about 20 communities, and also participants who were 18 years and above were included in the study after passing the inclusion criteria, which included the ability to give consent form. The participants should have stayed in the community for more than a year, and also the person should be in his or her right psychological frame of mind so that the person can consent. And also community entry was done to engage chiefs and opinion leaders in each community, whereby we explain the study procedures to them and also the outcome of the study. So during the day of recruitment, patients were recruited, or participants were recruited after they had given consent form and also samples collected. So we collected various samples. We collected human and livestock samples. So from the humans, we collected urine and fecal samples. But then from the livestock, we took only fecal samples, because it's difficult getting the urine samples from the livestock. So these were brought to the lab at the University for Development Studies and assessed by the team. The schistosomes were examined through microscopic examination, and also the of the urine, and also the stool was taken through the stool concentration method to examine the parasite egg. So these are some of the findings of the study. So after the assessments, we recorded the highest prevalence of schistosomes in the livestock, that is the S. bovis, and followed by the Schistosoma hematobium in humans, and the least in Schistosoma mansoni in humans. Also, we observed that individuals who were Schistosoma hematobium positive had Schistosoma bovis livestock in their household. So meaning all the participants who tested positive for Schistosoma hematobium were also having Schistosoma bovis livestock in their compound. And also from the study, again, Schistosoma bovis recorded the highest, that is an alarming 63.4%. So meaning out of the livestock, all the livestock that we took samples from over 160 livestock. Out of that 160 livestock, 63.4 of them are harboring Schistosoma bovis parasite. And also from the humans, we took urine to assess Schistosoma hematobium, and of them, 35.3 are harboring Schistosoma hematobium parasite. And lastly, Schistosoma mansoni recorded 15.3 prevalence, which is also alarming because per WHO standard, prevalence greater than 5% is considered alarming. So all these prevalence are alarming for per our study. So from our second objective, we wanted to know some of the disease manifestations that are seen in the livestock, because the goal or the concept for this study is to assess how the disease also affects humans, the concept of the One Health approach, to assess how the schistosomiasis affects livestock and thereby affecting their product, that is dairy and meat. So we engage the farmers and we ask them how many times they treat their livestock, what method they use to treat their livestock, and in a year, how many times they give medicine or treat their livestock. And the responses were as seen on the screens. A few of them, less than 10% of them, said they treat their livestock maybe once a year, but a higher proportion of them, a majority of them, said they don't treat their livestock, which also give a follow-up question of whether there are any disease manifestation, which most of them recorded gave a response of diarrhea to be the highest, and also weight loss among their livestock. So the vision for this research is to resume the halted mass drug administration program in the Tolon district and also other districts in Ghana and other parts of the world where the program has been halted, and also mostly to include livestock in MDA, because currently WHO hasn't given the green light to include livestock in the mass drug administration program. So the ultimate goal of this study is to provide enough data that would inform policy decision on including livestock in the mass drug administration program, and also to seek support from government and NGOs in providing potable and segregated water systems for both humans and animals in some of these communities, because the point of transmission is from contaminated water, as I've shown in the previous slide, the picture. People who come from these communities depend on the same water source with their livestock, and also that is where they both pick up the parasite from. So from the findings of the study, non-MDA compliant, that is people who do not partake in the mass drug administration program, are mostly positive. And also participants who were either positive for Schistosoma hematobium mansoni have Schistosoma bovis livestock in their compound, and most of those who were also negative for Schistosoma hematobium or mansoni in this study were treated in 2024, that is this year, but then they have infected livestock in their compound. And also through the focus group discussion, we realized that even the farmers do not know that there are livestock schistosomes, or their livestock could harbor the parasite and therefore could serve as could pose a risk to them. So this is a picture of school-going children swimming in contaminated dam. In one of the communities that we worked, we saw them swimming in this water or this dam. So thank you very much for your audience. This is my team.
Yeah, thank you a lot for your presentation. I know that we heard a bit about it before during another session already, but it was nice to see your progress and yeah, how far you've already come. I see Jackie raised her hand. Go ahead.
That was a good presentation, Fatima. So I have a question about, on one of your findings, you said that there are some people who refused to join the study because they felt like maybe they were positive from the disease. So I was wondering, how would you encourage these people to participate? Because also I feel like they stand to be like a health risk to other people, the community at large, because in most rural setups, I can imagine hygiene and sanitation, or also the issue of open defecation is it's on the rise. How would you advise that?
Okay, thank you very much for your compliment and your question. A very good question. Yes, when it comes to mass drug administration in some of these rural communities, the notion or the concept is when you take the drug, then you are going to get adverse reaction. So because of that fear, most people do not partake in the mass drug administration program offered by WHO and also by the government. So as part of our study, during the focus group discussion, this is where we took the platform to explain to them how the disease comes about, how it is transmitted, how they are contributing to the transmission of the disease, and also how we can prevent the disease. And that is through treatment or the chemotherapy. And also we explain to them that when you take the drug and you are seeing adverse or side effects, then it means you will have the parasite, and the drug is working against the parasite. So you should give yourself some time. So people who had never taken part in the mass drug administration program were then advised to take part in the study. And also because of this study, we've shared the preliminary reports with the district. So then they are now preparing and also mopping up logistics to go to some of these communities and treat them. So this is what I can say about your question. So
okay, thanks. I have one more question. And
sure.
Do you think RCTs can be another approach to use, maybe to help maybe understand the mass of these or the severity of this disease within the areas also?
Jackie, can you please come again?
I'm asking, so do you think RCT can be an approach? Can you randomize control trials? Can that be used to maybe as an intervention to ensure that you have maybe those who are treated, those who are not treated, to see how that can affect the situation?
Sure. Yes, for sure. Randomized control trial can be used, and there have been studies where randomized control studies have been used for schistosomiasis infection. However, what has never been done is including livestock in randomized control studies, and that is what we are advocating. So first of all, we have to provide empirical data on the hypothesis that the livestock schistosomes are harboring the disease, and there could be possible hybridization between the human and animal forms, and therefore through the molecular and also other field data that we have, we should embark on a RC study.
Okay,
and from that we can study and also regularize the regimen that is supposed to be given to the livestock, because for humans it's already known.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're muted.
Again, thank you. So I think your talk just emphasizes also that we need to kind of shift, not only thinking about the impacts of schistosomiasis on humans, but on cattle as well, and how that then in turn impacts the form on humans because of hybridization. So thank you for explaining a bit about that. And I also have a question by Joukje. She also compliments your interesting presentation and says there's a lot to consider around the challenge. And she asks, can you say something about the affordability of the preventative drugs and how feasible is it to provide it to livestock?
Okay. Michu, thank you for your compliment. I'll comment a little on your compliment. Yes, it's true. The focus has been on livestock for ages or decades. So now, and the program has still not been successful. So now, experts' attention are now being directed on including livestock. So for the question that was being asked, yes, the preventive drug that is praziquantel that is used in the Mass Drug Administration Program is not for sale. It is given by WHO freely to all endemic countries. So therefore, when these drugs come into the country, it is the duty of the government to decentralize the drug to endemic communities in each district or region so that the NTD, that is the neglected tropical disease office, they will take it up and share it to those communities. So the drug, number one, is not for sale. It is given by WHO for free. There are some pharmaceutical companies that have taken it upon themselves to provide these drugs freely. And one of them is Mectizan. A lot of them that provide free program. So that is what I can say. So what the individual has to do is to be part of the Mass Drug Administration Program. That is when the drug comes into the community, they have to take go for the drug and take the drug. But one other issue is the drug is normally for school-going children, neglecting other population at risk in the same community. So that is why we want to provide enough data so that we can share with experts and stakeholders to widen up the program to cover other population and also at risk in the same community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. And then is it feasible to provide it to livestock as well? Like, is there already a program set up for doing that for the MDA?
No, please. For livestock, no, livestock is not part of MDA. Yeah. And that is why we are embarking on this study to tell them that, hey, the livestock also harbors schistosomiasis because they are livestock forms of the parasite. They harbor schistosomiasis. And in most parts of the world, especially in Africa, these livestock stay in close proximity with their owners. So therefore, they and also sometimes depend on the same water source as I shared earlier on. Like what is seen in this picture, they are all dependent. You can see the cattle drinking from the same water source and human also fetching from the same water for domestic use. So this is what we want to gather data, tell them livestock also harbor the parasites, so they should be included in the Mass Drug Administration Program, because as I speak now, there is no single program, especially in my country and most part of the world, where livestock are included in the Mass Drug Administration Program against schistosomiasis.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think, is the drug inexpensive enough for that? Is it cheap enough to really spread it in a Mass Drug Administration Program for livestock as well? Or do you think the prices would just be too high for farmers?
Okay, the drug is not for sale. As I said, it is provided by WHO, the World Health Organization, freely to all endemic countries. So the reason why we should provide more data, or we are embarking on providing more data, is to let them widen up the program, because the WHO is already stressed with the request coming in for the drug, because these pharmaceutical companies that give the drug to WHO, they do it freely. They give to WHO freely. So there are a certain number of drugs that they give to WHO every year. So then what if the WHO should provide more drugs? Then scientists and also researchers should come out with data or, prove that, yes, we need the drug for so and so, that is for livestock also. So the farmers are not supposed, the drugs are not for sale over the counter. that is why they don't even treat them in the first place. So that is why we are providing data for them to be included.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you. Thank you a lot. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you too.
So I think we will now go to the feedback session where people can just ask questions to each other about anything, also about other projects of people who are here in the chat. So I will just share my slides with you. Okay. So yeah, that's the first thing. I think we already did this a bit, but are there any more questions to each other? In this group, we had a short introductory round at the beginning of this event. Are there any questions you still want to ask each other? Anything is welcome.
Yeah, I have another question. Still to Fatuma. I like your project so much, actually. So my question was, when you are discussing all these things, something just came up in my mind, like anything you do has to be context specific or even context dependent. So how did you even, in your fieldwork data collection, did you even ask these people or the community the kind of interventions they do or preventive measures they apply before they seek for maybe the expert oriented interventions?
Okay, thank you once again, Jackie. In these communities, as I said, these communities are rural, and most of these farmers are peasant farmers, and most of them, as I have shown in one of my results, most of them do not seek veterinary, guidance. Meaning, one, because they don't have the capacity to do so, and two, there is no, government or public program to support them. So most of them, in cases where their animals are having extreme symptoms, what they do is they go to the over-the-counter medicine sellers and buy, some antibiotics for them. And sometimes they are relieved, sometimes they harbor the symptoms. One of my slides is showing some cattle, and you could see that most of them were lean. So these are pictures that we took from the field. So almost most of the places that we went and saw some of these cattle were lean, meaning they are not properly cared for. But then what they are saying is they give them food, the water, they provide everything that they need to be, well fed. But then they are still looking as they have been shown in this picture. So the farmers in the first place, they don't have the capacity in terms of funds to seek veterinary care for their livestock. So that is what I can say.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for discussing. Is there anything left? Otherwise, I will move on, and yeah, we can always discuss later. You all are in the group chat, so feel free to discuss there after this as well. So I think we discussed the project progress so far, and it's really nice to hear about these different diseases all over the world in different animal species. So thank you for all elaborating on that. And then just to have a bit of discussion with you, I just want to acknowledge again that we are aware of the delay of the funds. And also one of the things that came forward in the progress reports was that there was sometimes unclear communication. So yeah, we're definitely kind of bummed out by that as well. And yeah, it's just a bit sad that it was outside of our control, since the funds were not necessarily provided through us, through Wageningen University and research. So we're sorry for that, and we hope it will improve in the future. And yeah, then to switch to something that is definitely in our control is these sessions that we organized for you. So I was just wondering, feel free to say anything We're just wondering, were they informative for you and like of the right level? We try to emphasize for the speakers that, you're definitely already knowledgeable about One Health, but we realize sometimes the presentations might be, a bit general still. And I was wondering if there's enough depth in the presentation. So feel free to share anything in the chat or open up your microphone and just share your thoughts.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually wanted to say something, not about the webinars or anything like that, just, I guess, personal preference. I don't really like the communication being made via WhatsApp. I don't know if any other colleagues feel like this, but I don't check my WhatsApp. I feel like it's more for personal purposes, and therefore there was so much information that at some point I muted it, and then I had to be informed by my other colleagues, because I keep track very actively of emails and tasks and everything via my work email. And so it felt odd to me that I had to check some other channel aside from that. So it was totally forgotten, and actually it was a pity, because there were a lot of activities going on, but of course my work schedule also doesn't allow for participation in all of them. But it's very nice that you provide the recordings, because I was able to then see them afterwards. But then for link sharing and everything, I always felt like it was complicated for me, that I had to check my WhatsApp and then send a link to my email account so that I could have it. So that was just like a side note, but perhaps other people don't have this issue. It's just maybe personal preference.
No, it's very helpful that you made this comment, actually, because this is something we thought about before organizing the webinars as well. Like, okay, which channel do we choose for communication, WhatsApp or email? And we decided on WhatsApp, but it's definitely a good note that you make, that it's sometimes a hassle to like send meeting like invitations and stuff.
Easier. Yeah, it's just easier with email, because it pops up on my calendar. So immediately I can block it. But when it's in the WhatsApp, I guess some people have the WhatsApp in their computer, in their laptop, so they can just sync it. But I don't have that. I don't have it. So
no, that's definitely a good comment. I wrote it down for the future as well, because it's a good thing to take into account, or to even, we don't want to over communicate, but to let people choose if they want to be notified through WhatsApp or email. So it's very helpful. Thank you. I see there's something in the chat as well. Oh, about the, indeed.
Okay,
it was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I have a comment to make. So once again, thank you, Wageningen, for this platform. It has been informative and also learning. One never stops learning. Anytime we join a webinar, there's something new that we add to our notebooks. I would like to find out, I know this cohort is 2023, that's the Transformative Research Challenge 2023 batch. After this presentation, what is the next step? Are there any plans for this batch again, or at what point does FPO or Wageningen says, we are done with you, thank you very much, you should, I don't know whether my question is clear, because I know, each year there are different, I think there's another cohort for 2024. So at what point should we expect a bye-bye or maybe thank you from Wageningen?
Yeah, so actually this is our closing series of all the events we will organize for you. I don't know if, that kind of makes it clear. So of course, a few people will still go to the new flagship event this year. In a few weeks. And for those people, there is still a small pitch during a networking event. I think the FAO will share about that shortly. But other than that, this is really our closing event. So this seems like the final bye-bye, but of course you're welcome to email or message me with any questions. Yeah, no, it's good to be clear about that as well, right? I mean, unclear communication is on this slide, and we want to be as clear as possible with you as well. We just wanted to, provide these webinars as extra knowledge sharing and integration with you. Thank you for the comments
One more comment. So from this collaboration or this partnership with Wageningen, it's not really, it's a comment. And also I'm trying to find out, should in case any of us, because of our reach, because we know from the start, this project, we receive seed funding from Wageningen. So then it is a study that is ongoing. Most of us would have to continue the study, look for new collaborators and founders to continue the study. So in the future, should in case we need maybe collaboration, maybe not in terms of funds, but maybe partnership with Wageningen, maybe in terms of laboratory or capacity, can we write to the One Health at Wageningen to seek maybe some kind of maybe support, maybe visiting or maybe for laboratory or something, anything? Can we fall on, because of the partnership, can we write to Wageningen for some of these things?
That's a very good, oh, sorry.
Fatima, I'll reply to that. I think this is a lovely question. And I would always encourage you to, if you have ideas or suggestions for collaborations with Wageningen, then definitely you should always reach out. And then I can help find the best suited collaborator if that is within the scope of our interests as well. And of course, I can't guarantee that we'll be able to help, but we can always try to come up with the best approach and maybe come up with an approach to jointly finding funding or things like that. So we'd always be interested in hearing from you.
Okay,
so
thank you very much.
You can either email my my personal email address, which I'm sure has snuck in somewhere, or otherwise use the One Health email address in Wageningen.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for answering that. My answer would have been, we will discuss this with Joukje. So thank you. Are there any more comments on the sessions? It's good to hear that at least, we were able to spread the message. So feel free also after this in the WhatsApp group or through email now. You probably have that as well. I will share it in the chat just to be sure. And you are always welcome to send any feedback to me. So I will just quickly type my email here. And I was wondering, just to have a final thing about the project. We already asked about setbacks in the report, but you're always free to share any now. We know we're kind of in this research bubble where it's normal to share only progress and especially in papers, just the things that have gone right. But we already discussed a bit about the community engagement and like stakeholder engagement. And like Laura explained, it was very, well, easy, I don't want to say, but it was doable in Cuba because these people are just so engaged. But from the reports we read that it was kind of tough for other people. So I was wondering, how did other people approach this? And how were you in the end able to involve the community in these kind of projects? Does anyone have anything to share about that, or other kind of tips for when people are encountering setbacks?
Maybe we can say something.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say that some of these things, maybe you're talking about bureaucracy, maybe accessing the field. So also that one is dependent on maybe the expectations people have with you in the field. Because, in every research you do, people always like maybe want to go and maybe give them, will you tokenize them or something? That will be dependent on you. And also, I would say working with somebody from the local level can also help you to maybe navigate some of these challenges. Like from my side, I ensured that I had all the ethics, as like I believe everyone had the ethics to access the field. So that also helped at some point, because also it was the second time I was doing this. So it was easier for me to access the field because they already saw me at some point. So even when I was working with my team during the survey, distributing the surveys, it wasn't that hard. Yeah. So it depends. You should ensure just you have the ethics ready, and just explain to these people that you are a student and all this. They'll understand, of course. You're not there to tokenize the field, because if you decide to go the tokenized way, maybe other people will be spoiled. The field will be spoiled for them.
Yeah.
Probably those people will maybe experience challenges, and that would have been maybe what other previous researcher might have done in those areas. Yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, so like clear expectations to the community, and also making them feel comfortable, and make them, maybe give them a feeling that they kind of know you as well. And then, they're also probably more prone to share their thoughts, I guess. So thanks for sharing. If we don't have any more additions to this, I think I will go. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I will just also mention one to add to what Jackie said. From the northern part of Ghana, this area is heavily guided by, various cultural beliefs. So for you to be able to enter a community, even if you have ethics from maybe the local ethics review board, then you have to also go to each of the communities and organize some kind of deba to engage the chiefs and also opinion leaders, explain to them your intention and also the outcome of the study before you can come into the community and organize, or maybe do the recruitment. When this is done, then it becomes easy for you. So for us, aside taking the exit, this is what we did. We engaged the local or the chiefs and opinion leaders in each communities. And as a way of a challenge, that prolonged our days of recruitment, because you have to use about, information that you could have given in maybe a day or two, then you have to use about 1 or 2 weeks to go to each community to tell them your intention. But then if you are able to do that, then it becomes easy. When you enter the community, participation becomes freely or willingly. People will come without having any kind of restriction. Thank you.
Yeah, so it depends on like cross-cultural studies as well, I guess. And thanks for adding that.
Maybe I will say something about Cuba, because it is, it sounds very idyllic, it's great for engagement. But of course, there are always setbacks. And I think one of the biggest ones that, of course, it's not my first time in Cuba, but one of the biggest ones is the embargo. So trying to get things working, or for example, even online platforms to collaborate, it's hard, because a lot of platforms are US, so then they don't work in Cuba, therefore we cannot use them. And other thing I found interesting is that the first time I went, maybe people know, I had a Revolut card, which is very common. And of course it doesn't work because it's Visa. So then for the payments, it's quite complicated, because everything is in Cuban pesos and you cannot use the card, and some platforms don't work. Zoom, for example, is a bit depends if it works or if it doesn't work, depending on the time. So so some things are like technical issues that I think in other countries are not really major issues, specifically if you have access to internet. But then you add this additional layer of will it work there? Because we're never quite sure. We assume that if it's a US-based company, then it won't work, which is interesting. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Also, I guess always the first time that you go abroad for any type of like field work, it's kind of figuring out what does and doesn't work, and you encounter all these things that you have to change in your project. So probably the first time you go, you don't do as much of research, but mostly adjusting to the country and adjusting your project accordingly. But it's yeah, nice to read in the reports that, yeah, seems like you succeeded, most of you. So yeah, it's really nice to read about that. So thanks for sharing a bit more about those setbacks.
With the risk of pushing us over time, Michelle, can I just also add there's one very important thing that sometimes researchers forget, because they spend a lot of time getting ethical permissions, and as Fatima also outlined, liaising with chiefs and with local stakeholders and knowledge holders. But then sometimes we forget that we also have to report back to the people who were involved about the findings of the research. This tends to be the part of the work that sort of kind of drops off or out of sight because, well, the work is done and there you go, the paper is out or the policy advice has been given. And then we don't go back to the people who actually helped us get to the findings that we've presented. Or so that's also something to always keep front of mind, not in the back of your mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. You're right.
Okay, indeed. Because of time, I think I will go ahead and share the last few slides here. So for the flagship event, of course, a few of you have been invited again, but the other ones, you're still able to register for online attendance. I do have the link here, but I don't know if I can copy it in this way. Yeah, I will share it in the chats. I have it right here. Okay, it's there now. So you can still register for online participation if you're interested in doing that. So yeah, definitely feel free to do that. And it's a bit of a hassle to go back to the PowerPoint now, but here I am. You see my slides, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So there's also another opportunity by FAO about a poster initiative. It's called Reno Farm. If you Google it, like the Reno Farm Youth poster, you can also find that one. It's mostly focused on university students. So I realize it might not be applicable to most of you, but you can still share it within your network. Perhaps, you know of some students who might be interested in joining this initiative. And it's focused on reducing this need for antimicrobials on farms, and also sustainable agri-food system transformation. So feel free to share it. I will share the link later. I cannot access it now because of the Zoom bar that is in the way. So I will share it in the WhatsApp group and through email later. So I was wondering if there's any questions left from you. Feel free to get them out, and otherwise I think we will close off this session.
Yeah, just a big thank you to everybody on the organizing team. I know that it's not easy to organize many things, and the webinars and everything, it's been very informative. And yes, thank you for all the help and support during this time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It means a lot to us as well. And also I'm very proud of all your progress updates and to see how far you've come. So thanks for all sharing that as well. And I think if there's nothing else, I will see a few of you in a few weeks in Rome. And for the other ones, good luck with your projects. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.